Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockreal. Thanks for joining us. Residents often report concerns about high rates of speed in areas where they live, work, or frequently travel. Take a look at how Bloomington police are addressing those issues. Traffic law enforcement details are not a new police tool. In fact, this method of speed enforcement has been used for decades to monitor high traffic areas, like the one we're at today on American Boulevard and Old Cedar Avenue South.
The reason why we're here a lot is because we get a lot of complaints from the local businesses, the local citizens on excessive speed. What happens is the people on 494, obviously they get backed up, and so what they do, traffic comes to American Boulevard as an alternate route to the city, and they think they can drive at freeway speeds, and they can't. It's 35 miles an hour from 34th Avenue all the way through town.
This kind of high saturation enforcement can play a major role in keeping people safe. On this particular day, Officer Anderberg positioned himself ready to utilize a laser that measures the speed of vehicles as they come into sight on American Boulevard near IKEA.
This laser will actually travel up to over 2,000 feet with accuracy. I generally get cars here between 7 and 1,100 feet. The recommended spot to put the laser is on the front license plate area of the car to have a reflective face for the laser to grab and come back.
4 officers sat nearby waiting to be alerted via radio when a speedy driver comes through the enforced area. When Officer Anderberg gives the vehicle's description to the waiting squads, they're off to make the stop. One thing Officer Anderberg notes is that many residents may not realize very few roadways in the city have speed limits exceeding 35 miles per hour.
Most of the streets, residential streets in Bloomington, are 30. Whether they're posted or not, state laws will show that it is 30. The major collector streets, county roads, are 35. We have a few spots 40 and a couple 45 zones, but for the majority it's 30 and 35.
And while no one likes a ticket, it's important to remember why police patrol roadways and why traffic laws even exist.
Well, we do these for the big reason to reduce crashes. That's our number one thing. Speed is a contributing factor to crashes, so we want to keep those down. Property damage always costs a lot of money. Of course, injuries are important to us. We don't want any, and we don't want any fatalities, and speed is always a part of some of those.
And if you don't see a speed limit sign,
assume it's 30. You have to assume it's 30. That's how the state puts it up. We can't obviously put a sign on every block.
The Bloomington Police Department firmly believes that traffic safety begins with you, the individual driver. So be sure to obey all posted speed limit signs. And as Officer Anderberg said, if you don't see a sign, assume the speed limit is 30. And from protecting our streets to protecting water quality in the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center's pool, city employees have duties that vary vastly. In today's City Faces segment, we'll meet Steve Ferguson. Take a look.
My job is to make sure that this is the highest quality water that the patrons can have.
On a hot summer day, a swimming pool is a welcoming escape from the heat. But before you can dive into the cool blue water, certain maintenance needs to be performed on a daily basis. For the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center, park keeper Steve Ferguson is your go-to guy for just that. Here's how his typical workday begins.
The first thing we do is take a good sweep around the facility here just to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. Sometimes we get high winds and rain that cause us some problems. And so we basically want to look over the whole facility to make sure that everything is in good condition for the patrons that are about to arrive.
One of the biggest jobs at any public pool is attracting guests. The easiest way to do that is with a clean, safe, well-maintained pool. Ferguson has been doing that for the past 12 of his 26 total years with the city.
Every day we strive to get better at what we do and understanding water quality and safety and all the aspects that it takes to run this pool. And you know, the people I work with all understand that, and it kind of rubs off. Everybody starts to feel like a sense of pride and they want to do a good job.
The state has guidelines for the amount of chemicals, like chlorine, that should be in a public swimming pool. Here's how Ferguson monitors chemical levels at the aquatic center. Water is continually being pulled from 3 different areas of the pool using these large pumps. It is then run through a computer system. These blue and yellow probes test the water to make sure the chemical levels in the pool meet state requirements. After recording the computer results, Ferguson heads to the pool to test the water by hand to then compare to the computer-generated numbers. Here's an example of a pH test where 7.4 is the magic number.
Right here, you can see it's 7.4 is the shade, the color shade that we're looking for. And after I've added the drop of the pH reagent, and you hold it up to a good clear spot in the light, you can see that the shade is extremely close to that. So we know that this water right here is really close to 7.4.
The right chemical combinations play a key role in not only the cleanliness of a public pool, which directly affects the health of swimmers, but also
you do not want to burn your skin or your eyes, and so for comfort alone, there's reasons to have it in the proper balance so that the public, when they enter the pool, they feel comfortable, and when they exit the pool, they don't feel uncomfortable.
And although Ferguson is at Bloomington's pool daily, he's not a big water person. In his spare time, you'll find Steve with his family, which is made up of his wife, 2 kids, and 2 dogs.
Spent some time hunting with my son and some fishing on occasion, and we take trips together. And
on a busy day, Steve tells us he could be testing the pool more than a dozen times. But in the scheme of things, ensuring residents are safe and having fun is the ultimate job reward. But a guy can dream.
If I could have any job in the world, oh boy, wow. How about the guy that invented Facebook? What's his name? I can't think of his name.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. I want his job.
Helping Bloomington residents be safe and swim more. Park keeper Steve Ferguson. The Bloomington Family Aquatic Center isn't the only place residents can cool off this summer. You can't forget about Bush Lake Beach, located at 9140 East Bush Lake Road. This guarded beach is open daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And as a much larger body of water than the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center's pool, there's a different way to monitor it. Bush Lake is just over 172 acres and has a maximum depth of 28 feet. And between the swimmers, the recreational boaters and fishermen, as well as the animals that live both in the lake and around it, no one can control what ends up in the water. That's why Bloomington environmental health staff test Bush Lake's water twice a week.
Every day we come out to sample, we will sample the beach in 3 locations to have a good feel for the entire swim area. So we'll sample on the ends and in the middle. The lab then will take a part of each of our samples and mix it together to give one result for the sample date. And what we're looking for, we're monitoring E. coli bacteria. It's just an indicator bacteria, very common in birds and mammals. And so we're looking at those levels, and if they should increase beyond a threshold, they might indicate there are other things present in the water that we would want to protect swimmers from.
The test is for one single organism. If that organism is present, it signals the possibility that other harmful bacteria may be present in the water. Checking and double-checking water quality ultimately helps keep residents using Bush Lake Beach safe from health risks.
As you look around, this is a very nicely maintained beach. So one would be to pick up, after yourselves, remove any trash or food so it doesn't attract birds to come into the beach. Number 2, to keep everybody safe out here, the main thing that we can all do is just consider others using the beach. And so if we've had a stomach bug or an illness in ourselves or kids, just stay away from the water for a few days until after the illness is gone.
Ludeman also noted that maintaining Bush Lake Beach is really a joint effort from a few city divisions.
Park maintenance, they groom the beach every day, keep it cleaned, look after bird droppings. They set up a fence line here that is intended to keep gulls away from the beach and then prevent them, in their droppings along the water's edge. Park and Rec, certainly they are out here with their lifeguards, doing their work and monitoring the swimmers and helping. And then environmental health, of course, we are out here to sample the beach water.
If testing ever indicated harmful bacteria was present in Bush Lake, the beach would immediately be closed to swimmers and monitored further. And while Bloomington fire staff is ready at a moment's notice, they're asking residents to celebrate the 4th of July holiday safely so they don't have to crash your Independence Day party.
What people don't realize is the number of injuries that occur every year as a result of fireworks. And some of the statistics, just based on 2009, it's historically, Independence Day has the most fires of any other day in the year. And just to give you an example of that, there's 18,000 reported fires. 1,300 of those are structure fires. Of the structure fires, 700 of them are homes. And this is just because of fireworks. You can get in further and you can talk about injuries and statistics on that. Some of the injuries, 8,800 visits to the emergency room for fireworks-related injuries. And along with that, the number one is the hands. 32% of those injuries are hands. Then we have a lot of injuries to the eyes, to the face. So they really, really are very dangerous.
Inspector McCarthy said that no matter the size of the firework, they all involve an explosive and are not only dangerous, but a fire hazard as well. One common misconception is that sparklers are the safest for small children, but in reality, the sparkling tip is more than 1,200 degrees and can easily cause third-degree burns. She encourages residents to attend events like Summerfest, where the display is much bigger, far safer, and legal in Minnesota.
The biggest thing to remember is anything that goes up in the air, basically aerial devices, are illegal in Minnesota. And one of the strange things that a lot of people don't realize is that in Wisconsin, you can buy a lot of these fireworks that are actually illegal in Minnesota, but the state of Wisconsin does not allow you to shoot them in Wisconsin. They only are allowed to sell the devices and you're allowed to buy them. The thing to think about too is as you're crossing the border, especially when you're getting closer to the 4th of July, is the state troopers are going to be watching for this stuff, and they can confiscate anything that's illegal that comes across the border. So I think that's one thing a lot of people don't realize. Just because you can buy them in Wisconsin doesn't mean you can go and shoot them here in Minnesota. Matter of fact, most of those you cannot.
For more facts on fireworks and for a list of legal and illegal fireworks according to the Minnesota State Statute, visit the city's website and keyword search fireworks. And if you're looking for a fun way to spend your Independence Day, Bloomington Summerfest may be just that place. When we come back, we'll talk more about what's in store for this year's celebration. Welcome back to Bloomington Today. We're now pleased to be joined by Recreation Supervisor Mark Morrison. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Well, Summerfest is a long-running Bloomington celebration. Why don't you start by first giving us a bit of history about the event, and then we'll get into what's in store for this year.
Sure. Well, Summerfest, as you know, the biggest event in the city. We're actually on our 34th year. I was looking it up today to try to refresh my memory. 34th year of Summerfest, and it's had kind of a bunch of it's evolved over time to be taking place at a lot of different locations to ultimately ending up at Normandale Lake Park. It started off at Kennedy High School, actually, way back in the day, and then later on moved to Creekside Community Center, the grounds there, and then eventually on to Normandale Lake Park. And then when the band shell was built in 2001, it became kind of the perfect venue to have such a big event like this.
Absolutely. On Tuesday, July 3rd, Normandale Lake Bandshell, as you said, will be transformed into Independence Day Ground Zero, we're calling it.
That's
Why
right.
don't you tell us what's in store for this year's Summer Fete?
Well, we like to call, we always do ours on the 3rd, which we think is great because it kind of rings in the Independence Day holiday for the metro area, actually. It's kind of the way we look at it. And it's just a neat opportunity to get kind of a jump start on celebrating Independence Day. So this year we have, each year it seems to get a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and this year is no exception. We have 2 entertainment stages once again. We have the Normandale Lake Bandshell main stage, we call it, which is going to feature three performers. And then we have the 84th Street Kids stage, which is located just west of Normandale Boulevard on 84th Street. And that's adjacent to the big carnival area that we have every year as well. Kind of the corner of 84th and Normandale becomes a massive carnival area for the kids, and they just love it. There's tons and tons of inflatable games, lots of other activities going on up there, fun stuff for kids to do. All the inflatables this year feature, as in past years, you can buy a wristband and kind of just go on them at your leisure. And the other thing is that it's featured at the 84th Street area and the Bandshell area are once again a large number of food vendors. I think we're going to have something like 14 vendors scattered throughout the area, so a lot of different food options for people, from fair type foods to great turkey sandwiches, just anything and everything you can imagine is available for purchase for food there.
It's something to do all day.
Yeah,
Get
absolutely.
your meals there, hang out. And after a few hours of music and some fun, dusk falls. Let's talk a bit about the fireworks displays.
Sure.
It's actually known pretty well within the metro, what we have here in Bloomington.
It is. It's actually, especially for the past 5 or 6 years, been considered the biggest display in the metro area. One of the reasons for that is, a couple of reasons. The first of which is we're able to raise enough funds to get a good quality large display. And this is as a result of the generosity of the Bloomington public and area businesses who donate a large chunk of the money that goes into paying for the fireworks. That's number one. In other words, the local population wants to have a good show. And part 2 to that is our location's kind of unique. There's only 2 spots in the metro area here in Stillwater where the launch site is remote enough from homes where they can launch kind of the bigger shells, the 10-inch shells, which is sort of the biggest that you would find in a city fireworks display anywhere. And so we do feature a lot of those kind of larger shells in our show, and that's kind of what gives the huge ooh and ah factor for our fireworks display. So we're really lucky in that, and we do take advantage of our ability to do that, to put together these huge shows.
Perfect.
So.
Well, that kind of leads me right into the next question. This is a free event, open to the public. You can choose to purchase additional things if you want, whether that be food or whatnot. But there are ways that you can help support Summer Fete. Talk a bit about that.
Well, absolutely. We have a system of a way you can contribute dollars to support Summer Fete fireworks and the event itself. Envelopes went out in the utility bill, and we've been lucky enough to be able to get permission to do that in the utility mailings. And so in that envelope, you have the opportunity to contribute, and there's different sponsorship levels. So you get certain businesses can get certain types of perks for the sponsorship levels in terms of publicity in various publications and under the big banner on the stage and stuff like that. And then also there are you can buy Summer Fete merchandise. We have T-shirts, hats. These can be purchased either off the website, the Park and Recreation desk, or in that same remittance envelope. There's a place to sign up to purchase T-shirts and hats and buttons, and the proceeds of which go to support Summer Fete. So there's different ways to contribute, and we acknowledge that that's such an important part of this event, and a big reason why it's been grown to be such a successful and very large event like this is because of the support we've gotten, and that's what really kind of makes it all possible. Because I think that if we didn't have that level of support, we'd have a smaller show. It would be quality, but it wouldn't be quite the the mega thing that we are able to do every year.
Absolutely, it's growing each year for a reason, and that's largely due to the residents and businesses that help.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, fingers crossed, July 3rd is warm and gorgeous and beautiful. But in the off chance that it's a bit questionable, where can residents find out, about maybe weather or if things are canceled?
Sure. Well, they can call the Park and Rec weather line to start with if things are looking really dubious on that day, and we would have updates on the weather line, which is 563-8878.
Okay.
So that's one place, and the night of, if bad weather, say it's raining, it is a rain or shine event, we'll keep going on with it. If it gets severe, we would make the call to either, if it's early enough, do a postponement and see if we can pick it up later in the afternoon, or there's the potential for a cancellation, but all that stuff would be posted or on this weather line.
Okay.
And so the public would be able to access it there.
Well, hopefully we don't even have to deal with that at all.
Exactly, and so far we've never had to do that. We've had rain in the past, but we've never had to do any kind of cancellation.
Well, perfect. Well, let's hope we have another year like that.
I'm confident.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank Mark for being here with us today. We look forward to seeing all of you at Summerfest on July 3rd. It's now time for a short break. We'll be right back.
I'm Gene Winstead, Mayor of the City of Bloomington. I'm really excited about a collaborative between the cities of Bloomington, Richfield, and Edina. In partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield, everything we do in the planning and development of our city, we can keep in mind different ways to allow people to live healthier lives. The initiative is Do Town, and we're looking for the help of all of you.
Let me see you shake that body. Come on and work that body. Let me see you big shine. Everybody move your body. Let me see you shake your body. Come on and work that body. Let me see you move something.
Welcome back, everyone. Recently, the city has received some inquiries about the status of the Normandale Lake Trail Improvement Project. We'd like to take this opportunity to address some of the questions and check on the progress of construction. The first wave of construction on the trail around Normandale Lake is now complete, and crews are on to phase 2. This consists of the trails from the parking lot on Chalet Road around the south and east side of the lake. This section of trail will be closed until construction is complete. The week of June 18th, contractors completed trail removal and grading, as well as tree realignment to make way for the new, wider trail. City engineers encourage residents to watch for signs directing residents to open trails. The exact completion date for the project is undetermined, but it will occur sometime mid-summer. Updates are provided on the city's website through eSubscribe. If you'd like to follow the progress of this project or any others, sign up today. Well, thanks to the city's Arts in the Parks program, Monday mornings at Moyer Park are now dedicated to area young people. Bloomington parks are the place to be this summer, no matter what day of the week, and we're happy to announce the Monday Morning Kids series is back. This unique program invites kids to head out to Moyer Park, located at 2298 West 104th Street on select Monday mornings, for a variety of fun and educational speakers and demonstrations. On Monday, June 18th, the Zoomobile made a stop at the park.
They're bringing certain animals and exciting new creatures that maybe some citizens of Bloomington haven't seen, and educating them about what they do in the wild, and it's very fun and entertaining for most daycares.
But it's not just daycare groups coming out to Monday's Kids series. Parents, nannies, grandparents, and summer camps, you name it, they've heard the positive buzz around this program and made a point to come on out. On this particular day, a Minnesota zoo official introduced kids to a few different animals, starting with a giant African millipede.
These guys have a really important job, and they are the garbage men in the rainforest. You don't really think of animals as having jobs, do you? No, but these guys, what they do is they go around and they eat all the dead leaves, and they eat rotten logs, and the dead fruits and veggies and all sorts of things, dead animals even.
A Solomon Islands skink and a red-tailed hawk also came with the Zoomobile to Moyer Park, and one animal found right here in Minnesota really got the crowd going.
These guys have two little glands underneath their tail, and if they get really nervous, what they'll do is first they'll stomp on the ground just to kind of let you know that they're not happy. And if you get too close, they'll turn around and they'll stick their tail up and they'll do kind of like a headstand and they'll spray you.
Each week, the educational entertainment is different, but the kids are always going to get a well-rounded, interesting activity, sure to hold any child's attention.
I really think that the audience does benefit from coming out to these shows. They get to be entertained and educated, and it's a beautiful park. There's a beautiful trail, walking trails. The kids can play on the play structures, and they can also sit and listen to the entertainer we have for that day. And I think the parents really enjoy being able to educate their kids and also have somewhere where they can run all their energy out. So it's a really great place to be.
To find out what act will be at upcoming Monday Kids Series events or for details on other Arts in the Park events, sign up for eSubscribe, available right on the city's homepage. And if you're a Bloomington resident, the city would like to know your opinion about the community and local government. All you need is a computer with internet access and a few moments of your time. Visit the city's website and you'll find the Citizen Survey on the homepage. Click the link, share your thoughts, take the survey. The survey asks residents to rate a series of statements. For example, Bloomington as a place to live is excellent, good, fair, poor, or you don't know. The survey takes just a few minutes, and the feedback will help the city set benchmarks and track the quality of services provided to residents. Your answers will also help the City Council make decisions that affect the overall community. Only one survey per person is needed and must be completed online by July 15th. If you don't have access to a computer, stop by Civic Plaza and take the survey in person. Your opinion counts. And that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockriel. Thanks so much for joining us.